Welcome to another edition of Get Found.
Be seen.
That's right, Monty. We're back at it.
Once again.
Once again, another hot one. Yes, indeed. And today we're talking about the art of letting go, trusting yourself and finding your focus. Because, Monty, you know what? A lot of times it is difficult to show up just like we are. Show up on camera, on stage, and be confident. It's difficult.
There's a lot of things to hang on to.
Oh, yes. It's important, but it is important to be able to trust yourself. Yeah, that might be a cliche to some, but it's true.
I like the letting go. That's why I said that statement. There's a lot to hang on to.
True.
A lot to hang on to that drags down your confidence.
Very true. Very true. There's a lot of things, that's, I think about presenting and it's, I think about nervousness. And what are some things in your mind? That's what came to mind for me.
Well, it's, so you said nervousness, so I just have to run with that because it's in my head now, and self-doubt there. But so you're talking about the trust me, trust yourself, trust me. You're talking to yourself, trust me. that part is, and you were saying it seems cliche, oh, you got to trust in yourself, but what exactly for? And that's right. the identifying, what are you holding on to? What's important? Is it my hair? Is it my tone of voice? Is it how I am talking? The ums and the ahs?
Right.
Which, by the way, are nice and human, easy to listen to.
Right.
That can be overwhelming too, but it's okay. That's something you can let go.
Right. And then there's a balance with that too. And that by the way, that might be the thing that separates the human from the AI.
I was hinting at that.
Uh-huh.
Although I was watching yesterday and the AI training video thingies, clones are like all technology and all AI advancing by leaps and bounds.
Right.
And yeah, that's a whole other topic. Other than I urge you to become confident and trust yourself so that you don't need to trust an AI clone of yourself to engage with the audience for you. Now they're making these tools so that you can reach more people, but I like the controversial term automating human engagement. So once again, that's going off onto a whole other topic. But I'm looking at it as, hey, if you don't trust yourself, you might be susceptible to wanting to use this tool to replace yourself. Don't do that.
Monty, I dare say that it is connected, because that would be a temptation. So at the end of the day, here's the thing, including with, hey, let me grab onto this AI portion of me, or yeah, there's possibilities that might be cool, but you only got one soul. Now, as far as this whole process, when it comes to coming on camera or being on stage, there's a process of preparation and trusting the process, right? We talked about process before as well. And this is, I've even learned this in the entertainment world. You get ready, you prepare, you train. And when it's time to go on stage, you got to let it go and trust what the process did, how it worked on you. And that's a whole experience in and of itself. And that's where the growth comes too. Because it's like putting pieces together, putting pieces of a puzzle together. Or remember those model cars that you use? Remember those?
Oh yeah.
Cool. But it's like you build that model. Once the model's built, okay, take it off all the parts, put it on the table. Or a remote control car, let it go. All right, now it's time to let it take off. That's that whole process. And then you go into that point where you're ready to let it go. You got to be able to trust yourself. We're built in creative ways. And we're built in an amazing way, Monty, where that's what we're built for. But isn't that interesting that it's so easy to not trust ourselves trust ourselves as the design? Like, hey, here we go. It's time to fly. But when we do, there's such a beauty when that happens. We feel that growth. We feel that rush. We feel so excited.
Well, society is I don't know what the right word that I want for it, but it's leading us. It's teaching us. It is preening us into certain ideas. And it always has, but technology has accelerated that and amplified that. So some of the old school problems that technology should have taken care of has just altered them into a different form. So my example would be self-image for young girls, particularly, but young people in general. But just the concept of, because that's been a topic forever, is the self-esteem of young girls.
Right.
And now, well, what is this person going to think of me? What are these people going to say about me? And that sort of thing. Well, now we have more than just TV. Before it was TV projecting all the pretty girls and this is how you should look and this is what you should be wearing. And if you don't have the designer jeans, then you're a nobody. And, all that sort of stuff. Well, now it's not quite like that, but it's on this other scale of you get so much from so many places.
Right.
So we're being taught of don't be you, look at where everybody else is and figure out where you should be.
Right.
And that's almost scary.
Right. And that's real. And that's important, even showing up on social media, because, you got to follow patterns and we want to be successful and you want to be able to serve the algorithm, right? So that it serves you, right? At the same time, we got to be ourselves. We got to bring our creativity. When you're in a room, right, having a human connection with someone, having a conversation, you could, there's certain etiquettes that would be great to follow, but you also got to be yourself because people will, at the end of the day, appreciate it. Now, here's the thing. It doesn't come to, it's not really gratifying at first, right? It doesn't come to you right away, but that's how it is with relationships. It takes time, but that's when you get the best effect. That's when you get the best bang for your efforts, so to speak.
Yep.
So
it ties in with conveying your message. Because if you're not trusting yourself and you're holding on to things, or even better, if you are looking at that, been preened by social media and society to look at the choices and model myself the appropriate way, then what you're essentially doing is saying, hey, who out there is on this topic, and then what can I say to them? Versus what do I have to say and who is the right people to say it to?
Yeah, nice.
I'm always thinking about that. Target audience, ideal client, getting your message across. Right. And if you're hanging on to other stuff, hang-ups of, well, maybe my message, they don't like it. Maybe they don't like the way I say it. Other people, well, that's jumping the gun. We won't get to that one yet.
I see where you're going. I like it.
And we're talking about hanging on, which is like being anxious. You're going to be nervous and anxious and tense.
Right. And it definitely impairs your ability to communicate. You want to communicate effectively. You won't be as effective as you want to be if you're going to hold on to that. But I do I'm glad you did talk about that. Who do I want to speak to? What do I want to convey to them, that specific audience? Are we bringing back in the whole avatar thing?
Well, we're not bringing it back in. It's just tied to everything.
I was being sarcastic.
I was being real.
Yeah. There you go. Get both.
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So how about on the other side? We were just looking at our context of what is it going to do to you. But what about on the other side of the camera, the stage, wherever your message is being delivered?
Right.
If you are not being authentic, if you're not letting go and trusting yourself, it's not authenticity. It's just trusting yourself.
Right.
But that kind of ties through to authenticity.
Totally. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. Because if part of being casual and authentic, you've probably let go. You're probably trusting yourself.
Right. Like I mentioned, it's where that growth takes place. That growth will not happen if you don't let go.
But on the other side, there's not only does your message lose impact and maybe not be understood. So there's on the other side, they're not understanding. They're getting the wrong message. They're processing and receiving the information in a different context. Well, how is that? The words are the same. But how you present the words,
right,
can make a whole different message.
100%. 100%. That's true. There are a lot of nuances we can go with there. We can go there with. We'll maybe that's another episode.
Well, no, actually what that is, I think, is that all ties together. And I started to segue in earlier, but it wasn't quite time yet. So we'll do it now. Is the imposter syndrome.
Is
if you are hanging on to stuff, you're not letting go, you're not trusting yourself, there's a good chance that you don't feel that you're living up to your own expectations, and that other people, therefore, are going to see that and call you out or know you're a fraud.
Right. And that's an ugly feeling. And I know there are a lot of people out there that feel that temptation could come their way. And it's important to be able to identify it.
Right. And this is the nuance. Before, we have talked about triggers and things that happen that cause that imposter syndrome. And this is kind of a different type of trigger. It's not so spontaneous. It's a little more insidious. Because this could be happening over a period of time. And then by analyzing it, you can look back and historically say, oh, here's a pattern.
Right. Very, very true. But it comes, and it's important to be able to identify it. But I'm really grateful, Monty, that there are ways that we can, and we have steps that we can take to identify it.
Well, and react.
Right.
And then there's the other part, is that once you've identified, you've found the pattern, historically identified the pattern, that means that you can be proactive rather than reactive. Because a trigger is a mechanism that is a reactive mechanism. Being proactive are, what would be the right word for that? Habits, preset, something beforehand. You're being proactive. Oh, right. I know. It's letting go.
letting go.
Being proactive, knowing, hey, look at this. I get all tensed up and then I don't feel as confident. So if I can
Right.
just untense, if I can just unwhelm.
Right. But it's funny how, but I love what we talked about too, how, it could come quickly, or either way, if it does come quickly, we could sense it. But if there's so much that we're balancing in our minds, even when we're presenting, we may not be able to identify it. It may just be like an impulse, or, but having the tools are so important.
Well, what I was mentioning there is maybe
Yeah.
you have a tool. Maybe there's a reactive tool and you haven't analyzed the historical aspects of this and the pattern involved so that
Right.
you can arm yourself with a tool
Right.
and go on the offense and say, well, rather than getting to the point where I have to use this mechanism to keep going, let me just build the road ahead of time and just blaze on through.
That's right. Build it ahead of time. I like that.
It's part of your preparation. And we've discussed that before about planning.
Mm-hmm.
Don't rush the process.
Right.
So that can be part of that, not rushing the process, is just setting yourself up for success.
That's right. And Monty, that's what we want to do. We want to help people to do that.
I was just going to say, we are set up for that success.
Yes,
we can
indeed.
set you up for that success.
Let's set them up, Monty. Well, hey, listen, that leads us to our workshop that we have going on.
That's exactly what I was doing.
Boom. This up and coming week.
On the 23rd.
23rd.
January 23rd of 2025.
That's right.
I'll be at the 3 p.m. Eastern time. It'll be 12 o'clock over here on the Pacific West Coast. There'll be some other times in between there, depending on which time zone you're in.
Right. You can feel free to Google that. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What time is that? Where I'm at. And come out and join us.
Yes, we will be going into some of those specific triggers, some specific mechanisms, and then some planning, some things you can do ahead of time.
That's right. That's right. Come check it out. Come join us. It's going to be a fantastic time, guys. You will walk away inspired, and you'll walk away equipped. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, we had a good time last time.
We did. It was a really good time. It was a really good time.
Well, it's a lot of fun because we're not this is a webinar to help people absorb and grow. Absorb the information and grow. And the best way to do that is with real life examples. And so I just thought it was great that we were talking and it was like, oh, like that time. And then we could go into something real rather than, there's sometimes too much planning is too much.
That's true. It's hard when it's too much because sometimes we just don't let go.
That's true. Or the other part is we don't trust ourselves.
True.
So my problem would be I don't trust myself to be able to remain on topic. So I better have everything all planned out. Well, we want a nice, engaging atmosphere. So if someone engages in one way and it's not what I have prepared, I could be in trouble if I'm too rigid and can't pivot.
Right. That's the beauty of doing it with coaching too, though. It's like you're able to adapt to what the need is of the individual or individuals. And that's what I loved about the last one. We were able to quickly adapt, like you mentioned. And that's the beauty with these events, because if someone has something going on that they may want to talk about, or they may have questions, we can go to that. It's not, getting off topic either. It's all under that topic.
Absolutely. And I guess that's the much better way of saying it. I was trying to get there. You
were getting
called
there.
it out. Let's just
getting
call
there.
that out.
Listen, you were getting there, but it's like you were laying the foundations. We're building. It's all good. It's all good.
But that major point there is the fact of this is a interactive webinar. This is not a just listen and hear a bunch of information that you've probably heard elsewhere too. This is a let's discuss it. Let's show some examples. Let's sympathize. I've been there. Here's where I was at.
Right. That's right.
I'm there now. See, there's the thing with imposter syndrome. It rears its head whenever you're going to do something profound, something really great.
Yes.
You know, and I don't think that goes away just because you suddenly figured it out on one time. How many things in life do we know about that it comes across, we're like, oh yeah, I remember that now.
Right.
We forget. It loses context. It loses weight. It's like, yeah, I know about it. It's no big deal until it's right there in front of your face again. Then it's like, oh yeah.
Right.
So that's why I think it's important to come back and revisit this because it evolves. It doesn't go away. It just evolves. You're here looking out there and feeling like an imposter. Well, when you move to there, you're looking out there and you're feeling like an imposter.
Right. Right. So true.
If you're not feeling like an imposter, you need to recheck. Am I moving forward?
Right.
Or have I found my comfort zone and now I'm not an imposter because I'm the master?
Right.
That's okay too. But if you are trying to get to the next stage, self-awareness. Anyway,
right.
We'll get into that.
We'll get into that. And I'll say this too, Monty. Sometimes what happens too is that we may not feel it or see it. And then after something like a segment like this, you're going to see it, whether it's the next day or that. I kind of chuckle at that because that happens to me sometimes.
That's that buying a new car thing.
Right?
Look at that car. I've never seen one of those. Nobody has one of those. Those are awesome. I'm buying that car right now. And you drive home, and on the way home, you see 12 of them.
12 of them. Right. What in the world?
So if you and what I want to say, the other side of this is, if you have some good points, we'd love to have you along. We don't want just people that have questions, but we want people that have contributions too. So come be engaged next Thursday, the 23rd, 3:00 Eastern time.
Bam.
I'm going to throw the link into the description. Once this thing gets posted, we'll throw the link into the description.
Yes, indeed. Put this up there. Check it out. Be there. Come show up. Show up and show out.
Hang out.
Feel like an
have
imposter.
fun.
This is for you. Have fun. This is going to be a blast. And listen, guys, we love to have fun. We love to have a good time because you get to learn in a fun way. And our energy levels are up and you absorb more. Absorb more. Absorb
and absorb.
Observe and absorb. Ooh, I love it. Anything else, Monty?
I think that wraps up today. Nice and concise and focused.
Nice, concise, focus.
You know, we get all bound up and tense because we're hanging on to stuff. We're not trusting ourselves.
Right.
We need just to let go of some of that.
Mm-hmm.
Trust ourselves, trust our process that we put in place, knowing that we can always improve it in the future. It's okay.
Yes, indeed.
And when you get to the point where you're like, am I doing the right thing? Am I an imposter? Are people going to see that I really am not the master of this thing yet? That guy over there is the master and I'm just a guy, a person? Come to the webinar.
That's right. All right, everyone. Enjoy your day and we'll see you soon.
Have a good one.
Take care, guys.
Get